Hello and welcome to Pennies and Salt. If you have been to our channel before, welcome back. If you haven't, welcome. We have, just to tell you a little bit, if you are new, we have 5 children right now, 1 due in about 7 weeks. And so we will have 6, and we homeschool our kids. And this is really just a channel just about our life and homeschooling. And it started as a blog years and years and years and years and years ago. It just became easier for me to vlog things. But that mainly was about money saving recipes and ideas and things like that. So welcome, and we're happy that you're here. Today, actually, I am part of a collaboration that is hosted by Rachel from Day to Day Joys, and it's all about freezer cooking. Well, this came at a very perfect time because we are expecting our next baby boy in less than 2 months, and so freezer cooking needs to now begin to get ready for that. So the number one thing, I guess for me, that's more difficult, especially with a new baby, is breakfast. And breakfast can be really easy, like oatmeal and bagels and fruit and yogurt and things like that. But there are times when we just really, really want something more hearty. And so that's what I'm going to concentrate on today with our freezer cooking. And this morning I already have to make sausage balls for a mom's group at church. And so I'm just going to make a huge batch of them. And so that will start. Our first breakfast freezer meal will be sausage balls. Sausage balls are super simple, guys, and actually I'm simplifying it even more this time. There's sometimes that I make my own like Bisquick style baking mix, but then there's sometimes when I use either this, which actually is really good, so sometimes I use this or the Birch Benders brand, and then I use sharp cheddar in mine, and then just sausage. And I am sorry, but I don't measure. It depends. If you want yours to have more breading to it, then you're gonna add a lot more of this. If you want it more cheesy, whatever. So I kind of like equal ratios of each. A little bit less of this probably than these two things. So I'm going to put these things in my mixer. I have found that this is so much more efficient for me than trying to mix with my hands like I have for years and years. And then one day it occurred to me, oh, make it easy, Megan, and just put it in your blender. So I actually use my KitchenAid mixer to mix all these ingredients. But you can use your hands, and that's what I have used in the past. So it is blending up, mixing, whatever you want to call it. And I have the oven set on 375 preheating. Now, if you're freezing them, you can, I guess, go ahead and cook them. But I actually am going to leave them raw so that I can just pop them in the oven when I'm ready to use them. So that's how I'm going to freeze them. And the way that I do that is I flash freeze them first, which if you don't know what that means, I will put them raw on a pan, slide it into the freezer until they're frozen individually, and then drop them into a bag. That way they don't all clump and stick together, and it makes it very difficult to get them apart, and you end up with a squishy mess. So that's what's next. Here is one pan that I'm freezing. There's still a little bit more of the mixture left, and then I've got some already in the oven. But these I'm going to pop in the freezer without cooking them so that I can flash freeze them. The first batch out of the oven, like I said, I did put one in the freezer that will be our freezer meal version of this. So this was on 375 for about 20 minutes. You want them to look like this. Don't want to burn them, but you want the cheese to get all bubbly and crispy like. So what I'll do is I'll put them in this bowl and get all the grease off with some paper towels. So now that we have done the sausage balls, we are now going to do some, I would call them blueberry muffins, but I'm also using some raspberries that need to be used up as well. So I'm going to start just by putting half a cup of butter in here with 1 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm actually trying to use up the rest of this that I had gotten back around Christmas. We normally use like raw sugar or coconut sugar or whatever, so I'm going to be using both. So there's 1 cup, and then I'll add about 1/4 cup. That should be about right. And then we're going to cream this together. So I'm going to put my mixer blade on here. I did also go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla right before this is done creaming together. And so now I'm going to put 1 egg in, blend for a little, or mix for a little while, and then another egg in, mix. And then I'll add the next ingredients. Okay, so I thought that I had the video going a second ago when I was telling you about the dry mixture. So I will tell you again because apparently I wasn't now, or I wasn't recording. So all I did was I added 2 cups of flour, and I use King Arthur flour if we're not using fresh ground because we do have a grain mill. I've just been out of fresh grains for a while. So this is all I use if I use store-bought flour. I just love it. It has great results. So anyway, so 2 cups of flour, and I also put half a teaspoon of salt, and I just use this when I'm baking just because it's not as coarse as the sea salt and Himalayan salt that we normally use. And then also I added 2 teaspoons of baking powder as well. So I'm going to stir this with a fork, and then I'm going to alternate adding it to this mixture. So I'm going to alternate. I'll put some of this, mix, some milk, mix, the rest of this, mix, the rest of the milk, this. And we're only going to use half a cup of milk. So I am going to turn it off while I do it, and then I'll record when I'm done. While this continues to mix, I'm going to start on this. So this is the equivalent of 2 cups of berries. I did have some, like half a cup of raspberries. I got flour in there. I had half a cup of raspberries left over from just this week, and so I'm going to mix that in with this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 1 cup of these out, and I'm going to smash them. After I smash them, I'm going to add them into the mixture. And then the rest of them, once it's mixed in, the rest of them I'm just going to fold in. So they're going to be whole. And so I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I blended the squished ones in, and now I'm just going to fold the rest. Okay, so now that we have our mixture ready, we are going to put it in our muffin pan. Now with most muffin pans, I would not recommend just putting it straight in, but this is a USA pan, and these are amazing. I've never had anything stick in here. With the exception of one time I did have some cornbread muffins stick in here, but that's because I cooked them too long and they got a little too dry. So that was all my error. But they are coated aluminum, so the aluminum does not actually touch your food. It is coated, but you don't have to do anything to this. I've used this many, many times and it still looks new. So our last step before we put the pan in, remember I said 375. Ooh, I need to clean that. Yuck. Okay. I said 375 is the preheat setting. So these of course don't look pretty right now, but they will. So the last thing right before we put them in the oven, I am going to sprinkle them with just a little bit of raw sugar on top. Just a little. Okay. Get a little bit for these. Okay. And I'm going to pop them in the oven for about, let's see, 30 to 35 minutes. I'll check on them after 30 minutes. The next thing is our sausage balls. This is one pan of them. Our sausage balls should be frozen solid. Yes, they are. Perfect. Okay, so this would be one serving for my kids. I don't give them a lot. They'll eat like 3 and then have a bunch of fruit with it. So yeah. So when we want something a little more hearty to put with our breakfast, then I would give them 3 to 4 sausage balls and then a bunch of fruit to eat with it, or yogurt or whatever. So I'm going to put these in my freezer bag here, and then they will be ready to go for the freezer, and I'll go do the same thing with the other ones. So you kind of can't see it on the camera, but it just says pull them out, thaw in the pan, bake at 375 for 20 minutes after they're thawed on the pan. Like I said, if you leave them in here, they're probably going to get mushy and start squishing together. So it's just easier, just throw them on the pan, maybe the night before, cover it with a wrap while you put it in the refrigerator, and then they'll be ready to bake in the morning. Okay, so we're moving on. We have done this. We have, well, these are in the oven as we speak. And now we're going to work on this. So I'm going to make a bunch of breakfast burritos. Anytime I can sneak in some vegetables, I do. So we're going to put some kale, peppers, onions, sausage, cheese, and eggs. So I'm going to start by just chopping up all of my vegetables and everything. And then I'll start cooking the sausage. And then once the sausage is about halfway, then I'll throw in all my veggies, get them nice and cooked up. And then on the other side of I use an electric skillet for this. So on the other half of my electric skillet, then I will start cooking my eggs. And the cheese will not go in until we start assembling. So we'll cook it all up, and then the mixture will have to cool completely. And I will probably actually wait until tonight to actually assemble the breakfast burritos, because then we'll have to wrap them in plastic wrap, and that's kind of a process. I'm doing all of this. Well, I did this morning, but I'm doing this during nap time, and so I won't be able to get it all done. So after the kids go to bed tonight, I'll have John help me wrap things and everything. This won't get done today. This will be another time, but I would like to do some cinnamon raisin French toast. If you haven't had French toast from Cinnamon Raisin Bread, it's amazing. My goodness, these look and smell amazing. I wish you could smell my house right now. So I am going to pull these out. I'm going to actually let them cool in the pan. But oh my goodness, those look so good. So good. So they'll cool completely before I ever put them in a bag for the freezer. So yes, yum, delicious. Those will be great. I thought of something else I forgot to add to the list of ingredients is I added a couple of potatoes just cut up, just regular russet potatoes. And then here are my onions and peppers. And then my kale is over here all chopped up and ready to go when it's time for that. and I'll get the eggs out when it's time as well. So I'll let this cook about halfway. Okay, so now we are wilting the kale in there. Everything's cooking really, really nicely. It smells amazing in here. I had kids coming upstairs just a second ago to ask what smelled so good. So, in just a second, when this wilts a little bit more, I will put some in a container, like a smaller container, for me to assemble for mine tonight, and then I'll put the rest in a bowl to assemble tonight as well, and keep them in the fridge until we are ready to assemble them. So, yum, that looks so good. So this right here, sometimes we have this for breakfast. We call it hash. But yeah, it's super, super easy. It's so, so good. My kids love it, and there's never any leftovers. But anyway, but I use the same mixture to make breakfast burritos from as well. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you videoing?
Yeah.
All right. Asher's my cameraman. So we're going to be wrapping these up in plastic wrap like this. And I used about a half a cup's worth. So this is a fourth a cup, but it was kind of heaping. So I'll add just a little bit more. How's that look, Asher?
Good. I want to eat it right now.
All right, and then we're gonna take some Mexican Ford cheese. This is our favorite.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna put some on there, and then we're gonna fold in the ends, and then we're gonna fold it over and pull it really, really tight. And then it's time to pull that off. And we're gonna wrap it super, super tight, right, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. So they're all gonna be wrapped like this.
Yeah.
And then
Like,
when we're done,
one's already like that.
what? Yeah, one's already like that. You're right. Mommy already did one, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then we'll pull off some more, and we'll stick another tortilla on. And we will make the rest of these. All right. Tortillas. I have more in the freezer, but they weren't thawed out. So that was poor planning on my part. But we've got 8 regular breakfast burritos, and then 2 of the dairy-free and egg-free ones. And still have quite a bit of mixture. So I may either try to thaw out those tortillas tonight and do it tomorrow, or I may just let them have this, heat that up as part of their breakfast in the morning. I don't know. But, so we ended up with 10 breakfast burritos total, 12 of the berry muffins, which are already in the freezer freezing, as well as 2 batches of sausage balls. So I'd say we have a pretty good start on everything. So that is our freezer cooking for today. And if you all want me to, I will share some of the regular meals that I'm gonna make, like the refried beans from scratch that I am going to make a couple of batches of, and of course the taco meat and the marinated chicken, lasagna, things like that. So if you would like to see more on some freezer meals, I am more than willing to do another video of that. Just maybe let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for joining us today. And if you would like to join us on more videos, we would love for you to like and subscribe.